Are you running out of ideas of what to do on summer vacation with your kids? Today's episode will help you with that and learn how to enjoy any new city you're in.
Let's keep calm and mother on. Mothering is way too important to do alone and way too serious to be serious all the time. My name is Christy Thomas, and I am here shoulder to shoulder with you, mothering and enjoying life together. This is the podcast where you can focus on being mindful and taking a deep breath with me and learning new things so you can pause and savor the amazing life you already have.
I didn't hit record. There we go. I'm so excited today to bring to you one of my favorite Instagram resources. When I moved to DC, the DC area in December, Jennifer was one of my go-to people to help make this place feel like home. And now that we've lived here 7 months, I really want you to introduce you to her and to let you know her. So Jennifer Liao, right? Did I say that right?
Yes.
Jennifer, welcome to Keep Calm and Mother On. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having me, Christy. You've just been a delight on Instagram, and now we get to see each other face to face. So excited to be here.
Yeah. So you have a blog. Let's talk about why I found you, because you have an Instagram account that's really active and a blog. What do you do?
Well, I share fun local places in the DC area. And it's called Family Trip Guides because we also do travel. But then when the pandemic hit, it really went DC focused. So my background is I'm a military kid. I moved 14 military moves before I was 18. And
that's a lot of moves.
It was a different time than you're in probably right now as far as every school year. And I think the first time I went to the same school 2 grades in a row was 10th and 11th grade.
Wow.
So it was a crazy time. But because of that, I've always, I guess I've seen it modeled by my parents. Like, you go to a new place, you start exploring because you might have 9 more months. And my mom really just had that adventurous, this is an adventure. Every time we had orders, it was an adventure. And she really put it in a positive light. So that's what I tried to do in DC once I started having kids. I have a 9 and 6-year-old.
I love that you do this because, every place we go, it's like, let's try out the things that are local to that place. Let's learn this place and do the fun things, the hidden things, which is where your blog comes into play for my family, being only here for a tiny little bit of time. So you used to do more travel? I don't think I knew this story. Than just the DC area?
Yeah, so I started the blog originally before the pandemic. I think it was like 2019, so right before. And I was writing a little bit. Actually, my husband is Taiwanese American, so my first Instagram handle was Multicultural Mama because I was really trying to teach my kids and me myself learning more about his family, his culture, and the language. So we lived in Taiwan for a year, and that's where I started Multicultural Mama. So that was a lot of travel back and forth to Asia, which you probably know it's like 25-hour trips.
That's long
so I was
flights.
writing with toddlers. It was like really long. We were doing it a couple times a year. So I was writing tips about that for other local blogs or multicultural kid blogs. And then I started writing more about Smithsonian's and DC. And then when the pandemic hit, I really went into, as we all did, an anxious time. Mm-hmm. But for me, my anxiety is really tied to medical safety. And so
what a rough moment to be alive then, right?
Yes, it was so dark I remember like 4 or 5 months. I mean, I would wear my mask to get the mail. Like, I just didn't know what I didn't know. And so, but in July, I started to explore, and I was primarily focused on socially distant locations in the DC area. So I would look on Google Maps and look what had the lowest reviews. So I guess that's why they're hidden, because they had really low reviews back then. Nobody would go to this park. Nobody would go to this stepping stone path. And then we would go because I was so sick, interested in safety.
But I mean, that makes sense. There was so much that we didn't know 2 years ago. And then living here now with the geographic population density, right? Compared to where we moved from in Georgia, which had like 50,000 people in the whole county versus 50,000 people in my zip code, right? That's part of a much bigger county with like millions of people. So
exactly,
it feels different, this pandemic life everywhere. That makes sense.
Well, and it was a really amazing thing. Like, I also started therapy, so I'm not sure what it exactly was, but I think the main thing was just like getting out there and seeing that I can do this again. This was a huge part of my life before the pandemic, getting out with my kids every day. I tried to like leave my house every day. That was my goal. That wasn't like a doctor's appointment. I didn't count that. But then when the pandemic hit, we weren't getting out, and I just felt that darkness, and, mentally it was hard to be a mom. And so once I started going out, I wasn't posting it on Instagram. I mean, before this, I was posting, we went to Switzerland, we went to Scotland. The year before the pandemic, we went to all these countries with the kids. So I was posting that. Yeah. But then when the pandemic hit, when I started posting local things, it just got, of course, so much more traction because so many more people were interested in the same thing.
Yeah, because this place is crazy, and it can feel this way anywhere you live because you've lived everywhere. And this is move number 10 for me since being married to my husband with the military. And every place you move, there's some hidden gems somewhere. So walk us through how you find your hidden gems. Let's learn a little bit.
Yes. I mean, you can do it too. I was going to save this for the end, but I've used Google Maps. Like, I just you can put in your house or maybe a restaurant you want to go to. Yeah. And then zoom out a little and look for those green areas. And that's parks and playgrounds. You can even search for like kid-friendly or museum near. Yeah. So all of that can be done on Google Maps. So it's not some big secret. And now Instagram, there's so many amazing moms and dads who are sharing their places. So you can join a community that sounds formal. Yeah. I really mean just search.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, community is what we all long for though, right? Like we're in this epidemic of loneliness and trying to find people again.
Exactly. And I've been able to find a couple friends on the Instagram community that we've met in person. And that's been really great too, awesome. Because we all like to share things and are encouraging each other instead of like, oh, I found this spot. No, you can't share it. You have to cite me or whatever. Yeah. It's like, no, this is public and more people, the better.
Absolutely. It's so much fun to love where you live. So I love that you just like actually use Google Maps. Like that's so simple. Anywhere you live, you can do this. It doesn't have to be a big city. Yeah. Anywhere
you travel, you'll find cool places. Another thing is, I know it's kind of maybe archaic now, but hashtags. I still use hashtag for us. You can say Fairfax Playgrounds and you'll find so many great ones that maybe not the people who are doing this full time or whatever, but they're sharing it too. It's a little less. Some of them are maybe 2 years old, but then you can see if you still want to go.
Yeah, you can check it out and find it. One of the places when my kids were super little, and I think I've told you this before, we had these, I bought like 99-cent notebooks and we would just write the name of the playground on the notebook and then we'd like go, I called it their playground passport, I think. And then they'd draw a picture of like their favorite thing there, write a sentence, right? Got to keep that summer learning going. And then we'd rate it. Like, would we want to come back here? But
that is awesome.
And then we got other kids to join us, right? Like other kids would bring their notebooks and it was like this thing every week, once a week. So we could just take a deep breath and enjoy other moms and explore together.
I love that. That is such a great idea.
So as you're going on all these local adventures and trying out these new places, is it always like the best day ever?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I think, setting expectations low. If I could set expectations 0, that would be, the goal. Because with kids, as you know, as anyone who has kids or around kids knows, things are not always going to be easy. In fact, it's going to be harder. That should be an expectation, I guess, to go out. Toddlers, I was very interested in safety. I really like a fenced playground. I have a runner. My second is my son. He loves to run. And so just like for running's sake. And so I always look for fenced playgrounds so that I just knew, I'll be near the entrance and I can see most of it.
Absolutely.
And then as they're getting older, there is some interest in educational expectations, but not really. I mean, my main goal is to get out of the house because I know mentally I'm a better mom when we return. And it's great for them. I think one thing I learned from moving a lot is new inputs just get exciting. And it's just, it's easier for me. I don't know if this is like a cop out, but it's easier for me and my personality to be a mom outside the home than inside the home, because I just feel this constant reminder of, I need to do this, or I need to clean this, or
I am nodding along with you here. Totally. Yeah.
We're focused. Yeah.
I think it's easier for me to give direct attention to my kids when I'm not thinking about like, there's still dishes, or there's laundry, or there's something I could do on my computer, or, we should sit down and read a book for 30 minutes. Like the to-do list at home can be really loud and overwhelming.
Yes. Yes. And I think there is also this reward that you feel when you come back from an adventure and the kids are talking about it, and you just feel like this is an exciting thing. Even if you don't have much time with your kids and it's just on the weekend, it's just such a fun thing to have in your memory bank.
Our brains are wired for novelty, right? Like we want that. We seek that out. We crave it. That's why we look for the next TV show, right? Like we want to know the newest book, the newest song. Our brains are wired for safety and novelty. So I love that you found that that's what made you a better mom. Like going out of the house was actually more like this act of self-care for you, and your kids just got the benefits.
Yes. Yeah, definitely a win-win. Now, I am not going to say that we haven't had extreme tantrums, and I would rather be at home watching Blue's Clues or, them watching Blue's Clues. Yep. But on the whole, like, it's better for me. Yeah. And they love it too.
And now this is just your family culture. You go do the things.
Yes. Yeah.
So do you have bags ready to go? Like how set are you to walk out the door? Are you always on the edge of an adventure?
That's a great way to think about it. I like to think so. No, I just keep everything in my trunk. We have a RAV4, so it's got a big trunk, and I have a big bag of all our stuff. When they were babies, of course I had, diaper bag, and I still have a backpack, but, we're pretty much ready at this point. It's just snacks and please go potty before you leave. How many times we get to a Smithsonian and the first thing is we're racing to a bathroom.
Well, driving around here, you're never sure how long that traffic is going to take you, or parking. That I feel them. Like, I think the bathroom is always my first stop when I get to the Smithsonian, and it's going to be clean. So it's like a go-to, like safe bathroom. That's what you should do. You should label bathrooms on your blog. Do you sort by bathroom? Rate by bathroom
I should see if I could sort by bathroom. Yeah, definitely. I always include restroom information. Yes.
It's very important. Very, very important. So I am so glad we talked about expectations here, because there are so many times where, like, I don't know, my kids have this initial bluster too. Like I tell them we're going to go do something cool, and they outgas all the reasons why they don't want to go. Do your kids ever do that?
Yeah, definitely. I think I just say we're going, and I try to keep more things a surprise. That's one thing I've learned. If I say, we're going to see this exhibit, we might not be able to, or the playground might be too hot, or something like that. So I just keep it pretty general as far as we're going to go to a new playground or we're going to go to an old playground. And one thing that's good is having the Instagram. If it's an old playground, they'll be like, which one? And I can show them exactly. Like, you were playing. Oh, okay, we'll go. But yes, there's sometimes friction, especially in the summer, friction to get out the door.
Yeah, and I've always found that, telling not too much, that always helps to keep their expectations low too, because life needs to be flexible. But also just reminding myself that they're allowed to complain and have their own opinions, but like usually when we get back, they're like, oh, that was cool, or it was awful, but now we have a funny story to tell about it.
Exactly. I love that. Yeah, and just the more times you go out and do things, it just becomes part of what you do.
Yeah. So you helped me learn this new place we're living. but other people probably stumble upon you potentially for coming to visit DC on a family vacation because it's a popular destination for everyone around the world. So what are the favorite parts of DC that you think, like if a family's visiting for the first time, that they should see?
Yes. So, of course, the monuments are interesting. I think that's always people's go-to. I would say if you're planning a trip, you need to know that 3 of the main places in DC right now require advance tickets. And I'm talking months in advance if you want to go to the White House or the Capitol.
Yes.
And then Washington Monument tickets are also in advance. I think it's like 30 days in advance. So you just need to be aware of that if you want to go to those big places.
Yeah. And the monument tickets, it was like we were trying to get them at 10 a.m. when they released them. And it feels like there's like I'm robots right trying to, I was like, how are they gone in 30 seconds? Like, I don't understand.
Yes, especially in the summer, it's difficult. As far as what you can't miss, you have to go to a Smithsonian. And it's actually the largest museum complex in the world.
Wow.
There are, I think, 18 or 19 buildings. And then plus the zoo is considered the Smithsonian Zoological Institute.
Yeah.
So just check them out. They're all free. No passes required except for African American history. And they're just amazing. I think some people think, oh, I don't want to take my toddler to a museum or my teenager's going to be bored. I would say because they're free and no passes, just check it out for even 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. They're beautiful buildings. And I am sure anyone I've said just check out for 10 minutes, they stay longer because you just go in, you're like, wait, what's this oceans exhibit? Wait, I didn't know that natural history also has the Hope Diamond, but also this cool cave that you get to walk through and have drip drip sounds, you know?
Or the Please Touch Me of the gems upstairs.
Yes,
like that giant amethyst is my 14-year-old remembers it from when she was like 5 when we lived here last time.
It's incredible. Or my favorite that I shout from the rooftops, the Postal Museum.
We haven't been there yet.
Oh, you gotta go. You would think boringest museum ever, but they have a stamps like bin and you get to just pull out and take with you 10 stamps and build your own collection. They're from all over the world. I guess some volunteers are just throwing in the less valuable ones. And then the second floor is all these transportation. So my son used to always call it the truck museum because there's an 18-wheeler, there's a train, car you can go in and out of. There's, you can even sort. You could be like an Amazon or a USPS worker and sort boxes. And there's even a spy kind of exhibit because the postmaster Inspector General does some like surveillance and police work on any crimes that are committed. So it's just really fun and nobody's there. It's kind of off the mall. You can park at Union Station, huge parking lot attached to the train station. And then that way you can walk through the train station to get lunch afterwards. And then it's literally across a street.
That's fantastic. So cool.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
I can tell, like you just light up talking about it. That's so cool. I would never thought of to go to the post office museum though.
I always have to explain it because you're like, well, I don't like stamps, but it's very cool. And then I would always say, check out a neighborhood, check out more neighborhoods. DC is really a city of neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. People who have lived here many generations. And so to walk around and you're going to have to get off the mall to do that.
Yeah.
And it'll be totally worth it. So, some of my favorite neighborhoods are H Street Corridor, Capitol Hill, Columbia Heights, and Cathedral Heights.
Oh,
those are my 4.
Very cool. When you're visiting them, do you just walk the streets or the restaurants? What do you do when you explore a neighborhood when you're in a city you don't know?
Yeah, usually it's like I've found a playground.
Okay.
My kids love playgrounds. So usually it's like we find a playground and we find a place to eat and then we kind of walk between the two.
That's great.
So of those 4, I would say that's what ties them together.
That's great. I love that because sometimes it's just overwhelming to know. So I like that your strategy is find a place to eat, find a playground, and then just go do it.
Yeah. Or a park. You know, you can bring a ball or something, some great green spaces in DC.
Absolutely. So when you're exploring these museums and doing things, are you always having fun?
No. No. No, I'm definitely not always having fun. And especially with the Instagram, I am kind of out of the moment a little bit because I'm thinking, how can I capture this? How can I put this in a reel, a 7-second reel? But for the most part, we do really love, as a family, even especially my husband, love just exploring. So that helps. I don't know if it's because we do it so much or we do it because we love it so much. But we do just like my husband on Wednesdays will be like, okay, where are we going this weekend? Like, and I send him 3 ideas and he picks or the kids pick.
That's awesome.
Yes, but I do think I'm trying to work more on being in the moment when I'm there. I take the pictures, I take the video, and then I just put my phone in my bag and are present.
I think that's a challenge for like every single mom that has a smartphone, right? Like the line between you're doing it for work, but also just documentation and how much do we want to save digitally for our kids versus being here, being present with them.
Yes, definitely a challenge.
Well, I appreciate all that you've given us about visiting DC and some tips and that post office museum. Somebody who's never been here, you should go visit that. Like, I'm glad you have it. So I'm so glad that you've shared so much about DC. How do you manage to take care of yourself while you're doing all these things, working and exploring and just enjoying your kids?
Yes, it is a busy time right now. I'm so glad you gave me this question ahead of time so I had time to think about it. But one thing I do is to try to capture these memories and without it being burdensome is I have this everyday memory book. I don't know if you've seen these before, but it's 5 years in one book.
Wow.
And each page you put a line for each of the days of the year. So, sorry, that was a little complicated. But for example, for July 1st, there is an entry for 2019. There's an entry for 2020, 2021, and now I'll enter today's 2022. And so I can see 5 years, or at this point, 4 years on one page. And for me, it's a self-care practice because I'm reflecting on my day. I'm reflecting on the cute things my kids said or what we did, but I'm also able to, it's a gratitude practice, but it's also like a memory keeping practice for me.
I love it. One of my favorite ways to think about the word mom, right? MOM is the maker of memories. And that's what you're doing in there is you're storing them in a way in your own handwriting, even like what a gift that's going to be for them to stumble upon.
Exactly. And it's really like I say, if there's a fire, it's my kids and this book and my husband has one too, because you can see, and especially through the pandemic, July of 2020, I'm still nervous. What's happening? All we did today was laundry. And then 2021, I'm so excited. Vaccines are coming out soon, and then 2022, we have this trip planned. We're doing these things. So it's really cool to see even just the progression of history through our family.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. What a good idea. And I'll find one of those. Do you have a blog post about this at all? Or should I link it to Amazon?
No, I don't. Okay. Yeah, you can just link it to Amazon. There's tons, and mine's an ugly cover, but there's tons of great covers. Yeah.
It all works. As long as you use it, it's the best cover for you.
Yes.
So how else do you have family fun? Like you go on tons of adventures. Is that your family fun or do you have a different idea? Because every episode I wrap up with these 2 questions because I want to inspire a mom to go do something.
Yes. Yeah. I think it really is that we love to explore. So whether that be locally or we'll do a day trip to the Chesapeake Bay or the mountains of Shenandoah. But one thing I wanted to say is that I always have stickers in my backpack so that if we're in traffic, if we're at a restaurant, if we're waiting in line at some exhibit or something, we have something we can kind of do, or a notebook. I also have a notebook. So, those 2 little things, just, you can have little family fun anywhere.
Yeah, like those two, a notebook, a pencil, and stickers, like endless fun right there. Even my teenagers, because now when they find stickers, they like make alternative melodramas about the characters in the stickers, right? Like it's not just decorating a page anymore. Like there's backstories about why this bunny is dressed in this clothes or whatever it is. It's hilarious how these simple things can age with your kids.
Yes. Yeah, it's great. That is fun. I'm going to remember that for my 9-year-old.
Yeah, you just never know. It's hilarious what they come up with. Kids are awesome.
Totally.
So where should people find you online? Can you remind everyone, Jennifer, where they should find you?
Sure. It's Family Trip Guides, and that's plural with an S. And that's familytripguides.com or on Instagram.
Fantastic.
And Facebook,
Are you on Facebook much, or should they go to Instagram first?
Probably just Instagram. Yeah, I just share links on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook is kind of like that nowadays.
Yeah.
Everyone cool's on Instagram. That's what I always say.
Or TikTok. I heard your great last interview. But I haven't, I just know myself, so I haven't downloaded that app. Yeah.
I look at it, but it's not one I've mastered.
Yes.
TikTok goes so fast. But yeah, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being your bright light and finding what works for you and then sharing it so generously with others. Because like I said at the beginning, when we moved here in December, it was such a big move from a small country town to this big national capital region with almost too much to do that you could be overwhelmed with decision fatigue easily coming into such a big city. And you helped us figure out things. Your hiking guide is still one of my go-to, and we're actually going through it every Wednesday this summer and picking new places off your list.
Oh, so that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah. So I have a lot of like lists, so to help with that overwhelm. So like 15 hidden gems in DC. If you're visiting, that's a good one.
Excellent. Well, we will link it all up for everyone. And thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great summer and weekend.
I love when moms find what works for them, right? Jennifer enjoys adventures with her kids. That's what makes her exactly the right mom for her kids. And you are exactly the right mom for your kids. Don't doubt it. I believe in you, and I am so glad you're here on Earth. If you could do me a favor and share this episode with 3 friends, I would so appreciate it. And I hope you just have a really fun day being the maker of memories, even if those memories involve tears from you or your kids. Bye, everyone.